Have you ever thought about language not just as a tool, but as a map to a culture's very soul? Today, we're diving into Arreqqana, an incredible constructed language where the environment, beliefs, and even the elements are literally baked into every single sound and sentence. And this proverb? It's pretty much the key to everything. You see, for the Arreqqana people, this is their whole philosophy. It tells us that for them, language isn't just something you speak, it's something you channel. It's got the movement of the wind, the certainty of metal, and the weight of history all rolled into one. So let's get into their world, a world of wind and copper. So who are the speakers of this language? Well, picture this. They're nomads, migrating between these vast red sand deserts and shores lined with copper-rich cliffs. And they believe that words carry a literal spiritual force. When you speak, you are actually shaping reality. Now, you might be thinking, okay, wind, copper, water, sounds like some nice poetry. But no, for the Arreqqana, these are not just metaphors. They are the literal pillars of their entire worldview. I mean, everything, from their grammar down to the very sounds they make, it's all filtered through these three core concepts. So, how does this worldview actually get into the sounds of the language? Okay, this is where it gets really fascinating. Their environment doesn't just influence their vocabulary, it literally, physically shapes the sounds coming out of their mouths. Okay, check this out. There's this fundamental rule they call the copper truth sound. So you've got your standard K sound, right? Pretty common. But if you're talking about truth or a verified memory or the metal copper itself, you have to shift that sound deeper into your throat, making it a Q sound. Think about that. In Arreqqana, truth literally sounds different. It has this physical weight, this depth that you can actually hear. And this same reverence for the elements shows up in other sounds too. Take the R sound. At the end of a sentence, a final R isn't fully pronounced. It's whispered. It becomes this soft, breathy sound. And it's not optional. It's a mandatory sign of humility to the wind, like you're acknowledging that this powerful, unseen force is the one that really gets the final say. All right, so we've covered the sounds, which is amazing, but now we're going to look at the grammar itself, the very architecture of the language, and see how that same worldview is literally encoded into every single sentence. First off, Arreqqana doesn't have grammatical gender like masculine or feminine. Instead, every noun belongs to one of two classes, wind nouns or copper nouns. The logic is super clear. Is something changing, emotional, or about the future? Bam, it's a wind noun. Is it stable, physical, a solid memory? That's a copper noun. So just by speaking, you're forced to constantly categorize your reality through this lens. You always have to ask, is this idea fleeting like the wind, or is it solid like copper? Okay, now this is absolutely mind-blowing. In English, our verbs are all about when something happened, past, present, future. But in Arreqqana, the grammar cares way more about how you know something. Did you see it with your own eyes? Did someone tell you? Is it an ancestral truth passed down for generations? Or is it something you're just imagining? The source of your knowledge is baked right into the verb, and it's way more important than the timeline. Okay, we've got the sound, we've got the grammar, so how do they write this stuff down? Well, let's talk about writing with wind and flame. Because their script isn't just functional, it's pure art. It's a visual representation of that fusion of the elements we keep talking about. So, let's meet the star of the show, the Aru flame curl. This single symbol is literally the signature of the Arreqqana language. You have to put it at the end of every single sentence, no exceptions. And it's this beautiful visual metaphor, right? A gust of wind turning into flame. It's a constant reminder that every statement you make is a blend of that changing emotion, the wind, and clarifying truth, the flame. All right, take a look at a fully marked sentence. I know, it looks incredibly complex, maybe even a little intimidating with all those marks floating around. But trust me, every single one of those little diacritics is doing something important. Each one adds a whole new layer of meaning, emotion, or cultural context. So let's break it down. And this is where you see just how deep it all goes. Every single mark has a job. That little upward flick, that's a copper spur, marking a declaration of truth. That bar connecting two letters, it shows a paired, stable identity. You can even stretch out a sound with a long spark to add spiritual weight. You don't just read a sentence in Arreqqana, you kind of feel it. You feel all that cultural weight packed into the script. But here's the thing, this language isn't just one static system. It's alive, and just like the people move between the coast and the desert, the language itself adapts to those different environments. This creates these really distinct dialects, each with its own vibe, its own unique feel. And wow, the contrast is pretty striking. You've got the coastal clans on one side, and their dialect is melodic, it's flowing. Their sentences often end with this soft, sighing wah sound. Then you go to the desert, and it's totally different. The desert dialect is clipped, it's grounded, and their sentences end with a sharp ra that signifies endurance. The whole social vibe just completely changes with the landscape. Just listen to this coastal example. You could almost hear the waves, right? It feels so poetic, gentle, almost romantic. The linguists who study this call it the sweet drama of the coastal clans. It's all about water metaphors and making requests in a really soft, ceremonial way. And now, listen to the desert voice. Totally different, right? It's sharp, it's direct, it's declarative. This is the spicy dialect. They're not going to hint around. They're going to state things clearly. For them, truth is valued for its heat and its clarity, just like the copper they forge in their desert home. So, when you put it all together, what does it mean? It means Arreqqana is so much more than just a bunch of words and grammar rules. It's a living map of a culture's soul. It's a breathing record of their history, their beliefs, their environment, all of it, just etched right into sound. And that leaves us with a really fascinating thought to chew on. What if your own language was shaped this way? If the sounds, the grammar, everything was fundamentally shaped by the world right outside your window, whether that's concrete and skyscrapers, or forests, mountains, or the sea, what would your language actually sound like? What truths would it be forced to tell?